Dummy Switch Pod. The boys are back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How are you, Chris?
Coders, if I had to tell you the truth, but the Sharks, I'm excitedly disappointed with the weekend's rugby, but I'm
Yeah,
good, Coders. How you doing, bro?
good myself, good myself. The Dan Carters of podcasting here to
Mm-hmm.
give you our opinions, our flagrant takes,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, share your opinions. Let's see in those comments if you agree, disagree. Quite a few things to discuss. And obviously, church announcements, you can find us here, all the socials, Spotify, Apple
Yeah.
Podcasts, so on and so forth. Uh, I think let's start with news. News of the day
Mm. Mm.
or of the week. I think let's start with three of the junior box. They
Yeah.
get a call up to the squad just to familiarize themselves
Mm.
with the squad. Of course,
Yeah.
those being Jooste, Hashim Pead, and
Yeah.
Lions bound Hlekani.
Yeah. Look, um, hey, look. I think for anybody, any under 20, to see that there is that opportunity, and I think, look, coders, I know we've spoken about this, in terms of transformation and things like that, and I mean, you see, look at the guys are getting the exposure, you know what I mean, and it's all that we've been saying,
Yeah,
and um, look, what an opportunity, and geez, it's because there's jobs, there's jobs. So there has to be succession planning,
yeah,
you have to, and it's good to see that, we're starting early to look in, give the guys looking
yeah,
because they're good quality players. I mean, there's a whole lot of guys that, could easily also be in that mix, under 20 or
yeah.
not under 20, so yeah, big on them. And then, hey, no, that is some good business there, Quarters. I will say, um,
Yeah,
for you guys. No, that's I don't know. That's a good business. I'm disappointed, in that the Sharks, but I think there's something there,
yeah.
franchise. Maybe we'll see a change there here in. Wait, this is Transvaal here in Transvaal. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll
Yeah,
see a change, but for real, um, I think good for him. Maybe he's going to get more minutes, but it'd be interesting to see where he's going to play,
yeah,
how the Lions want to use him, obviously, because he's a good ball runner. So I think he'll fit in, with the Lions. I think his skill will develop more, because of the way that the Lions play. And I mean, we saw that this weekend. So yeah, big news, very big,
yeah.
and big ups for Hlekani.
Yeah, just going back to the three guys that were included, Rassi said, don't learn the game plan, the intricate details, whatever. Just basically show up, get
Mm,
acclimatized, get used to what's going on around here.
yeah,
And he said, you're not, most likely, you're not going to get a cap now. Maybe
yeah,
next year, maybe the following year. Just get yourself
mm,
familiarized. And he did say,
succession.
he's testing the levels of like, where is an under 20 player compared to
Yeah,
us. And he also
yeah,
said checking Makaza when he's like, okay, Varsity Cup, where are
mm,
they to
yeah,
us? Because they know
yeah,
where Currie Cup players are, they know where URC players are. So in terms
mm,
of those guys, I think they're just getting them eased in, eased in.
mm.
And in terms of Hlekani, obviously it's good for the Lions.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, the Sharks can't hoard all the wealth.
Look, at
The
the
wealth
same
has to
time,
be distributed.
distribute.
The
You gotta
wealth has to be
distribute.
distributed.
Yeah,
And
no,
realistically, you look at a
yeah,
player like him, you're talking about his position. He plays four and he plays seven.
mm,
He's behind Etzebeth. He's behind Ral. He's behind Jenkins at four. At
four.
seven,
There's
he's
seven.
behind both Chitukas.
Yeah,
And they'll play like Pepsi there, or they'll play someone
yeah,
else there
yeah,
ahead of him. So in both scenarios, you're looking at him being fourth choice at best in both
mm,
positions.
mm,
The
mm,
Lions are going to use him as a four and as a seven. I think it
yeah,
was I can't remember which coach it was that said about him particularly that he can play flank if he ups his work rate a bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're talking kind of like on the highest level. At the
Mm.
level in terms of Currie Cup and in terms of URC, you should be able to play flank quite easily. It's just, when
Yeah.
you're pushing higher on, is the work rate needs to be pushed up. And
Yeah.
at the Lions, if you're looking in terms of four, no real lock has been able to establish themselves. It's just Etienne Oosthuizen, but the thing is, he's in and out with injury.
Mm.
You've got Schoeman again. He hasn't, these aren't guys that it's kind of in and out with the locks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if you're looking at
And
seven, it's Fenter, but then Fenter also does the same. He's also a four and a seven, and
mm,
then Koma, but he's also like more bench, So there's opportunity there in terms
yeah.
of him playing
Yeah.
both positions at the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can almost see the Lions, because I think is you guys have Pead as well, ne?
Yeah.
You guys have Pead as well. You can see that they're wanting to build something
All
there, and
three,
they've
all three had the Lions
yeah,
connection
they had
because
the
Jooste went to
Lions. You see?
Newteville.
Yeah.
Jooste went to Newteville, but
Yeah.
the Bulls, sometimes the money is too much. The money is just too much. Then
Yeah.
you've got Pead, then you've got Hlekani. All Lions
Mm.
connections right now.
Yeah, look, I think that's a big up on the Lions junior structures as well,
Yeah,
to see the guys coming through there. But I can see, them what we can build a team around the Hlekani and around the Shimpede, and
yeah,
hey, it'll be interesting, but it's gotta be in the right hands, and I think no, look, Mzwake Nkosi is the guy.
yeah.
I believe so. He's been in long enough. I
Yeah,
think.
Mzwake and Nkosi did actually say because Izan Esterhuizen got injured, it's looking like he's out for the season, that he's looking to get Hlekani there now rather than
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
So I guess we'll see within the following weeks.
So you can
Uh,
see already. He wants.
yeah,
They want him. Yeah, you see. So yeah. Hey, Koras.
yeah, and
Hey,
I
things
mean
are looking good there. Eh?
it's the thing. The thing about the Lions is now there's proof of concept. They've shown
Yeah,
we can put you in that box squad. We've
yeah.
got the Moine van der Bergs, the
True.
Klabakanyes, the Q
Is
Horns, the guys all around that kind of situation. So they've shown that
yeah.
even the Chitukas, if you want to take it a step
Yes,
further.
no, true. If you wanna take it there, yes, no, definitely, So, and I mean, they're also have attracted guys, to
Mm.
come in there. So, yeah, good to see. Anyway,
Yeah, the rest of the box squad, kind of what you would think it would be.
mm,
You've got Manus van der Merwe hanging around still.
hey,
Bowen Fenter also hanging around
yeah,
still. Uh, Thomas Dutoy, he's been excluded for the first two games because he's got bath commitments, as in the club, not the
mm.
washing device. But, uh, so with him, he has to be rested. And then the guys on standby, you've got on standby.
Mm,
Hooker has seemingly taken his place. But again, it's kind of like you would expect it in terms of is coming off an injury, Hooker's just
yeah,
getting introduced.
yes,
Then, I can see
yeah, because
the
you
thought
know what you've
process.
got here. You know what you've got here. Let's be
And he's
honest, you know
coming
what
back,
you've got,
yeah.
and he's coming back from injury. And yeah, let's give the kid some exposure. Let's let
Yeah.
him do his thing, and
Then
see.
you've got my Pimpy also on standby. Again,
Mm,
another situation where they've brought in Edwell. Edwell's done well,
yeah,
so rather let's see where we at. And I mean, guys, it's like Villy LaRue last season. They were counting down like, yeah, he needs so many tests to reach 100. But
yeah.
then the end of year tour, he's gonna have to play all the games. They start doing calculations.
Mm,
Following year, he gets picked and he plays. It's the same thing with my
yeah.
Pimpy. My Pimpy is close to 50. He'll get 50. It's
You'll
just
get,
not now.
you'll get it,
So
you'll get it.
my Pimpy there on standby. Captain of all captains on standby, Murat. Uh, we've got Ruiz also.
Don't be.
Again, it's only Stormers that will be disappointed with that. Then we've got
Yeah.
Fushia and Klabakanye edged him, like I said.
Mm,
And Chituka, I'd say the guy that's kind of most
yes.
aggrieved in terms of he had a strong
Yeah.
first two games, then he
Yeah.
didn't play the rest. You thought like maybe they're resting him, maybe he's
Mm,
proved his
mm.
point. but it is a competitive environment there.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think, like we said, we did say that there's going to be surprises, quarters. That
Yeah.
we have, it looks one way, but they see different things, and you start seeing, okay, yeah, look, it makes sense, in terms of how they looking at it into, but definitely there, you'd say Chituka. It's like, yeah, that's a tough one,
Mm.
because you would have wanted to see a bit more, and especially maybe against Australia coming off of what they're going to be coming off, you know.
The problem with
So,
him is, again, it's that 4-7 position where
yeah,
you've got Nokia and you've got Mustard. So to have
yeah,
another guy doing that,
yeah,
it's kind
yeah.
of redundant. So he's a bit unlucky there.
And I think even at a push, John Luke can also play locker as well,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, and those guys they tried, tested, and also you
Yeah.
must remember Nokia is also in some way he's also new still, and you want to keep on building, on what he's done so far. Yeah, so yeah, nah, but a solid squad, man. But things can change. I mean, they're still in camp.
Yeah.
Things can change.
Only other thing I'd add is that maybe we didn't touch on it as much as we should have, but Grant Williams is clearly number one in
Uh,
terms of the nines for South Africa, number
yeah,
one scrum off.
yeah. He's your nine. He's your nine quarters. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the other guys have showed strong showings. I mean, you see, Reinach is in there as well. Squad man. You know what I mean?
Aye.
So no, Scott, you need this. He's done well against Australia. When he's been called upon, let's be honest,
He's a squad
seldom
man.
he
That's
squad
what
man.
I. He's a good roommate. He helps
This is
them
a
carry the
regiment that Rassi is
bags.
built. This is a regiment that Rassi. It's a regiment that he's building. You know what I mean? So, and there, I think they've got that mentality that they are soldiers. They know their rank. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Moving on to Currie Cup. I think let's start with the premier match of the
yeah.
weekend.
Wow,
Sharks visiting the Lions. This
wow,
time last season,
wow.
it was the only defeat that the Lions had in the round stages. But
Yeah,
I mean, in this one, Sharks
yeah,
went with a more youthful team,
yeah,
with obviously the under 20s left out for this round. But Lions came in more experienced in terms of guys that have featured. Both teams had guys that have played URC, but more of a experienced. I
more
wouldn't say
stability
youthful,
and
but
experience
I'd
with the
say
Lions.
more experienced team, and ultimately that's kind of what showed.
Yeah, it did show. I mean, look, if you look at the start that the Sharks had, I felt that game they were playing with their food in the beginning because they had a good start, they had momentum, and then they just, you know, there was just no punch, and
Yeah,
and then the Lions settled, and it was okay. This is how we do it, and then
yeah,
yeah, it was a clinic, really, but there's some positives, yes, that you would have seen from the Sharks. There's little
like what?
things, that okay, like I'm saying, the start and the first five
Yeah,
minutes or so, quarters, that was a solid start. They failed to convert the pressure that they had on the Lions in the 22, kicking the ball away aimlessly. So it's like decision
yeah,
making, where I won't lie, I expected more from Bradley Davids in that sense,
yeah.
in terms
Quiet
of,
game.
yeah, and also more controlling because he's a URC player in terms of more controlling the pack and directing things as well, considering the number 10 is also a bit inexperienced. So those sort of things that, yes, they'll get better, but
Yeah,
they had, like I say, in those first 5 minutes, me, I'll take those to say, okay, that's why I say, excitedly disappointed because it was a youthful team. There's something there, but then the Lions, it was just in at Ellis Park, it was too much. Hey, it
yeah.
was too
And
much.
the thing about the Lions is you've got those guys like Dobela.
Yeah,
I mean, how many URC games did he play? I think he played two.
Yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
you've got
Playing
guys
up to.
that are wanting to play. You've got Angelo Davids, the same situation.
Yeah,
He makes his debut, but over at the Stormers URC games, he probably I think he had three or four. He didn't have that many
yeah,
this season. So you've got
yeah,
guys that are hungry to play.
yeah.
They've got that little bit more experience, and I
Rabs, you
think when
got
they
Rabs there,
exactly.
you know. Mm.
So
Ras
for
as well
me,
is also fighting Yonka,
yeah,
yeah. And then even in the pack as well, quarters, I think the experience is there, really.
yeah, the Landsbergs of the world. I mean, he
Yeah,
had a good game. Dobela had a good game, and for me,
Jared Cairns
where
even as well.
yeah, Jack Cairns as well. For me, where this game lived and died was the fact that the Sharks' defense, what they were
Yeah,
trying to do was they were trying to rush them, press them, and then cut off the 13 channel. A lot of the time, the
yeah,
winger was coming off the wing and trying to cut off the 13 channel.
mm,
And then as soon as they realized that you've got playmakers that know how to play through that,
yeah.
these guys, it's like you can startle players that aren't there yet, but when there's players that
Yes,
are there, you've got Reynard Jonker, who's a playmaker, playing
playmaker.
at 12. So he knows it's like we're either going to do quick hands and we're going to beat the press, or in the end, he was just floating a pass over the press.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
yeah.
looked amateur at times, and it looked quite bad
Too
in
easy
terms.
for the line.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looked too easy. No, no, for real. It did look too easy. Like especially once the Lions got on a roll,
yeah.
they that's where you saw the golfing class really, and you saw that no, these guys, most of them, they they've never been in this situation where and the Lions just they cut them apart really. There's nothing more to say. They
That's the
got cut
thing.
apart. I mean, even the coach was just like, hey, what's going on here? Like it
They
was,
solved the problem. They solved the problem and they solved it early. So they're like, we're
yeah,
just gonna keep on. We
yeah,
know that you guys are gonna try and do this. So
yeah,
we're just gonna keep
yeah.
on doing that. So the problem was too easy to solve, and then they just kept on
Mhm.
doing it over and over. The Sharks weren't helped by the fact that their lineouts weren't good
Yes,
for
yeah,
a lot of the game.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's just they didn't have any launching pad really. You know,
Yeah,
they really didn't. Yeah, there was, like I said, outside of the start, they were just chasing shadows, really, quarters.
yeah.
They were just chasing shadows, man. Yeah,
For me,
just
you've
disappointing.
got
But hey,
you've got a situation here where it's like you either need to operate this defense better, or you have to
mm,
change the way that you're going to defend.
yeah,
I mean, it's only the first game, so obviously you can work on it.
we'll see.
But I mean,
We'll
even
see.
in game, you have to kind of adjust.
That's what you want to see. That's where the coaching is going to come in. You've got coaches on the sideline. So it all everything about it, is just at the moment it just looks like you say almost amateurish. So first game, let's see. Hey, but
Yeah.
we'll stay positive. Like you say,
Mm.
first game. We've seen turnarounds. So yeah,
Yeah. Uh, only other thing, guys, a lot of guys, they always John Smith, John Smith. I don't see it. Maybe I need to
yeah,
borrow someone else's glasses, but
yeah.
Sean Smith, I don't see it.
Yeah, because it's like, man, even your dad here, bro. Like, you know,
Get Moyo in there. Get Moyo in.
yeah, no, for real. No, but they got to. I mean, if you look at it, and hopefully the system is set up, nicely for that
Yeah,
because you also don't wanna bring guys in and break guys because a rot can really can build very fast in
yeah,
a team. So yeah, they hopefully they can correct things, but it's
yeah,
not going to be easy
yeah. I
going for the
think
next game.
next let's just go to the other bigger unions. I think Province versus the Bulls. Province squad. I mean, they announced their squad. I think there's 13 club players. There's a lot of
Yeah,
Blitzboks, and ultimately, like I like the sentiment, but on game day, you can see the personnel is going to be
yeah,
a problem. They can't front
yeah,
up physically.
yeah.
The
That's what it
game in the
was.
beginning. obviously the pitch didn't help in that it was kind of like high paced in the beginning, but it was very messy.
Mm,
And that's from both
mm,
teams, but it's like for the Bulls, especially if you can dominate physically, it doesn't matter if it's a mess. We're going to get the more
yeah.
tries. And then we're going to get the more
Mm,
tries. Then we're going to get more tries. And then you're going to get yellow cards and yellow cards and yellow cards to a situation where
yeah.
both locks are even off. How do you even have a scrum in that situation, which they did?
Mm,
And then
mm,
they go over for another try. So it's like they were just outmuscled. It was not
yeah.
entertaining at all. Klaba, he did well as a captain.
I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
seeing him now that Jake Wise disappeared.
Yeah. Hey, Oliver
You've
Sunday or Saturday.
Yeah, then you've got Rudolph as well. He's just having fun as soon as the guys up front do their work, and
Yeah.
it's easy for your loose forwards when you're dominating like that.
Yeah. John Rudolph is like, he reminds me when I was watching, he reminds me of a bit of, who's that guy, the legendary Bulls captain, that guy, man. What's his name? Oh, yeah, Anton Leonard. Yeah. He's just like, he's a Mr. Currie Cup. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
like he's that guy. He's everywhere, and he just doesn't stop.
yeah,
And I think the Bulls lose trio. But then also you look at Marvin Ori coming in, controlling the lineouts as
yeah,
well. Manjesi in there. Look, they said piece was strong, and it translated. I mean, if you look at all the guys that were in there, maybe you'd say Litebele was maybe the one that was maybe a bit less experienced,
mm,
but all these guys, they've been there, but even Litebele played Currie Cup last year as well. So, it's as a bull support, if you're a bull supporter, this is what you want, them to go out there and it's away from home and get the job done. But I think more so it's just the intensity and how they did it.
yeah,
That for me, that's really like you say. You dominate physically, then it doesn't matter, or if it's a mess. They were able to capitalize on it, and yeah, Stormers. I mean, Western Province. Sorry, Western Province. Yeah, but it's more like the Stormers because now it's like, you know, the pack is not because the pack really
they look.
didn't.
You know what they look like? They look like a smaller union where
Yeah,
they can't compete at set piece. They've got a scrum that's always conceding penalties. They got a lineout that doesn't function, and then you're always going to be on the back foot. You're going to be swinging and trying to do
yeah,
everything, but unfortunately, you need to front up for it to be a contest, and that's where
yeah,
they lost the game. Obviously, in the second half, you could see what kind of you could see what they're trying to do, and you can
mm,
see them now playing the ball and getting rolling.
that's
But like I said, you can see what they're trying to do, but are they going to be able to successfully do that over how many
and
games?
sustain it and sustain
Yes,
it. Yeah,
with forwards like this, unfortunately, I don't think so.
yeah, that's where it is, and it's. I mean, like, it's not like you don't have guys that haven't been there. T-Stone is played for the Lions. Scar has played.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think Zane Davis as well. I think he had a decent outing.
Mm,
He was trying to front up physically. I think he's just naturally that type of player. It's just
yeah.
I think just as a collective, they're not quite there. Yeah, if this doesn't, I don't see them being able to sustain the way that they're trying to play because yeah, you saw it in the second half. Once they start moving that ball, and especially on
Yeah.
transition, they can hurt you. Very dangerous. They've got naturally dangerous outside backs. They can they
Yeah,
they,
you
they
saw
can get
Shilton
things
van
going.
Wyk,
But
the
Van
intercept there.
Beek,
That I think,
yeah,
he was one of the more positive of the
yeah,
players there and showed a good outing for himself.
yeah, but like, yeah, you don't see them sustaining this. But again, first game, maybe we will see changes going, as the sort of the competition progresses. Because I mean, it's very short. I mean, what, August, September, maybe by October you're playing playing for the cup.
Yeah.
So I think you will definitely see, changes in there where they're going to try get in some guys, some you're going to see maybe some of the under 20s coming in as well to try and make a
Yeah,
difference.
I
So
think they'll. I mean, even some of the guys that came in the second half, I think maybe they'll get a run. But I mean, they're playing the Lions
yeah,
this coming weekend, so they're going to get caned again, unfortunately, away from home also.
yeah. But I liked what's this the subs, the guys that came on, Ngobeni, Makata, Tristan Lates, they the ones that
Yeah,
brought that,
yeah,
that
that's what I mean. Those guys should get a
that
run
fight,
instead.
those guys. Yeah, yeah. And I want to see how Ngobeni goes. I like him. I've seen, like, if you've seen Varsity Cup him with the Marties, he's he can be somewhat of a what you call it, a cult leader,
Yeah.
because he he's got those qualities. So that's why I say there'll be changes for sure, I think.
Yeah, let's move on. I think let's go to Friday night's game. Pumas hosting Griquas. Yeah, it was kind of close, like how it always is, and
Yeah,
then Pumas just ran away
yeah.
with it, partially due
At
to
home.
Griquas' discipline and being at home. And
Yeah.
I feel
And
like
being
they
at home.
also, yeah, they have more creativity in what they're trying to do, and it's more
Yeah.
at times it's even unconventional. The backline is very, very flat to the point where you're even seeing guys like run across each other because
Yeah.
if you don't pass, then you're just in my way now. So I even saw like
Yeah.
I was noticing that about the backline, but at the same time it was also working because the forwards, I mean, even that try you saw the forwards no look passes there. Even
Yeah.
the that switch in midfield where the guy went straight, it's cause they're playing so
Through the
flat. So I
middle.
mean, like
They
I
flat on the
get it,
line. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, look, it's Pumas. I think you have to commend the Pumas for their consistency. I think over over the years,
Yeah.
they always play that they'll always want to play. You know, um, and I think even yes with the Griquas as well. Like especially these two teams, they always want to play. And you are going to see those points of difference. So yeah,
But yeah, I mean, the Griquas, they tried their best. They front up physically.
yeah,
I think they're less
mm,
dynamic in terms of their attack, but they put up the arm wrestle, and it's
mm,
just the yellow cards is what killed them in the end. And under pressure, giving away those repeated infringement, those repeated penalties. The knockdown there, Gershon Ware didn't. He was like, "It's not a penalty try," and they're like, "Yeah, but it's a yellow. You have to go." And he's just like,
yeah.
yeah, but it's like he didn't want to go off the field.
It's like,
So
no, man, I
that,
want to play. Man. Sorry, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's just skis. It's just, but yeah, then I mean, once those yellows came, it's just a struggle to get territory.
Yeah,
It's a struggle. You're trapped in your
yeah,
own half. What can you even do? And I mean, they've got
yeah,
Ross Brody there, who's he's on his way to the Sharks. After the Currie Cup. He's an exciting player. You've
yeah.
got
He
Kamlashe.
is.
For me, I think he should be a URC
I've always
player.
rated him, eh?
You've got
I've always
Fis
rated him.
exactly. You've got guys like Fisanti, who it's like these guys are dynamic players who play outside the box, and I think that's
Yeah,
ultimately what got them. I mean, yes, they're physical, they front up, and they could match the Greek was there. But where I feel like they have the edge is they've got players that are more dynamic. They're players that can do more things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, look, some of those guys come from the Griquas as well, so
Yeah,
it's an interesting sort of
it's
you
an
know
incestuous relationship
derby.
there between
Yeah,
those.
this one, but I think we'll I think we should see, like, obviously an improvement, as we go along.
Yeah,
Like I say, first games, and if you look at it, Pumas at home, you'd probably expect the return fixture. Griquas at home, also a different type of team, So
yeah,
yeah, it can only get better for the Griquas from here. And the Pumas, they're looking good. There's things that they're doing using the space.
Mm.
Those cross kicks, that intensity, like you say, playing flat at the line. It's nice to see. You know,
Yeah, moving on to Sunday's fixtures, Boland hosting the Cheetahs. Uh,
the bowling Cavaliers. The bowling Cavaliers. No, no, no. It's the bowling Cavaliers. No, there's something different about
yeah,
Boland.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, in the beginning of the game, well, firstly, I mean, just looking at the home fixture, it
yeah,
looks nice there. So that doesn't, that's good as well. It
yeah,
looks, got the mountains
yeah,
there. You've got the spectators. It was a good
yeah.
scene that was set there. And then Boland doesn't disappoint in terms of early on, good territory, good possession. Uh,
Mm,
the set piece, although they did fall off in the scrums, like later in the match, they had a functioning set piece. So essentially,
yeah.
you can build from there, you can compete from there, and then the attack just looked way more dynamic than what the Cheetahs were doing.
Much more. And that's even in the carries as well. You saw, how they were fighting for extra yardage. I think
Yeah,
Tobias was one of the guys that stood out for me.
and
Then I
Sangweni.
think just the whole pack, Sangwin as well. I think the whole pack, but the loose trio, how they were working.
Mm.
Together, and you saw that with that try when Sangwini broke out, got that offload to Dlamini. I
Hlekani.
mean,
Yeah.
listen to that. Sangweni to Dlamini, and then you've got Mafu there to clean and secure the ball. It goes out.
Mm.
It's just the intensity, and like you say, it's just they. I think the attack was really the biggest point of difference for
Mm.
in this game. Look much more sharper, more dynamic, like you said, and yeah, it just and they're at home as well. It's just, this one you could see there was a lot of also feeling in this game. You saw it afterwards, and I think you just hope that they can carry that
Yeah.
and see how far they can go, because I really think they've got a really solid team here.
Yeah.
They can do something if they can keep it together, I think.
Yeah. They can, but we must remember they're being funded by Northern Transvaal.
Oh yeah.
The money is that's where
Oh yeah,
the
true, you see.
yeah, so that's why they've been able to make that step up. They've been able to secure some
Mm,
good players, guys like Sangweni that
yeah.
couldn't find contracts. And I mean, you look at him,
Mm,
Western Province could have done with him. He was there, but they let him walk. And then you see how well he plays here. Ashlon Davids had a
yeah.
masterclass. And like as even for me, when it came to strike plays and just attacking a tent, you can see
Ngele
that
for me.
they're well coached. These guys they can
Yeah.
play. They can play. And
Yeah.
they're given
Yeah.
a platform by their forwards to play, and they're executing
Yeah.
in terms of the backline. So
Yeah.
it was encouraging for me. There was times where they should have even scored more tries. They should have even. There was one
Yes.
clean break where the guy went straight through. It's just a hand came and it was a
Yeah.
farm hand. It was a free state. It hit the ball down. If it was a normal hand, you would have gone for the try. But
Yeah.
margins and they
Yeah.
they're looking good. They're looking good.
They're looking good. Margins there. And I mean, like, yeah, if you're the Cheetahs, you can see, hey, you can see where they didn't capitalize. I think they'll France State will definitely not be impressed, because
Yeah.
it's one where as much as good as Boland were, the Cheetahs could have burgled it as well, in terms of just
Mm.
on the basis of, you know, they they should be the
Yeah.
the stronger, if you know what I mean. But like you say, you can see the funding there. It's showing dividends early. They're able to win a clutch game, get it off, because they still had to work to get that win.
Mm.
And the fact that they were able to pull it off, I mean, big ups to them. Yeah, cheetahs, they've got they need to be careful,
Yeah, for me,
and they
it's
need to,
yeah, they're not looking. I mean, great, they beat Georgia, but
yeah,
moving on, and now we're
mm,
talking on a week by week basis. Attacking, they didn't look good enough. Uh,
yeah,
yes, they outmuscled them over the longevity of the game. They're gonna outmuscle them, and that's what they did in the second half. But when it came to attacking
yeah,
intent, like you just didn't see a backline really beyond the fly half. That's all you saw is
yeah.
just forwards and a fly half.
Yeah, only time where you saw was on the kick return with Cohen Jasper. And then, a bit early on, they were trying to move the ball around, but then it just, yeah, they couldn't get it going. And and it's unfortunate because you usually associate the Cheetahs with that ability,
Mm.
to also to go, you'd have thought they would have been able to go toe to toe. I was looking forward to seeing, how Makaza was going to go in the backs, but yeah, like you say, still first round, but let's see.
Yeah, first round, second round, we're gonna get Cheetahs hosting Pumas on Friday, Lions hosting Province on Saturday, Bulls versus the Sharks,
It's gonna be a nice one. Aish.
and then Griquas hosting the Cavaliers. Yeah. Any closing remarks from you, Chris?
Look, it's the Currie Cup. We seeing the exciting rugby. I thought like we saw a lot of
Yeah.
good rugby as well. You can see we're in a good place. I think I'll still pick this over Super, the current Super. So um, yeah, it's good to see Currie Cup. It's good, man. It's good.
Yeah, that's it from us, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.